Hurricane Irma. Why were we right when so many others were wrong? Why were we right when so many others were wrong? I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, bringing you the gospel truth about Hurricane Irma. Why was I right and our followers right when so many were wrong? And I'm not talking about the people that don't know anything. I'm not talking about the mainstream media. I'm not talking about those kind of yahoos. I'm talking about the people that we know, the people that are in our genre, the people that are in our neck of the woods, so to speak. Why were so many of them wrong and we were so right? Now, there's going to be probably some people that are upset by this broadcast. And if you've watched me for any length of time, you know that I always go very far out of my way to avoid saying anything or doing anything that might have the slightest potential of offending anyone or upsetting anyone in any way, shape, or form. You know that's just not my way. You know it's just not my nature. You know that I just don't ever say anything or do anything that might actually cause somebody to be upset or to feel less than okay. You know it's just not my nature. But I just couldn't hold it in any longer. But we have to face facts, and we have to ask questions as to why these things were true. I mean, some of my good friends, Rex Bear was all about how bad it's going to be. It's the worst storm ever. It's the worst. It's horrible. It's going to wipe, everything off the map. And I was like, Rex, it's not. And Rex, well, all the facts. I'm Rex, it's not. I remember talking with Heidi Vandenberg. Jeff, I'm telling you, the astrology says it's going to be bad. The astrology says it's going to be horrible. The astrology for her area is horrible. The astrology for my area is horrible. You got to get out. You got to evacuate. It's going to be bad. Now, Jenny Moonstone, all the cards say it's going to be horrible. The cards don't lie. The cards, the astrology, the facts. And you know what? They were right. Rex was right with the facts and figures that he was quoting. Many of you have had Heidi do your astrology, and you know that she's generally spot on. And I have no doubt that she was spot on. I took a look at it myself. She was spot on about the astrology regards the hurricane. It was horrible. It was awful. It was terrible. And Jenny was right about the cards. They were awful. They were horrible. They were terrible as well. And yet, they were wrong and we were right. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? If the astrology really said that it was going to be a horrible storm, it was going to be horrible for the East Coast, it was going to be horrible for Florida. If the tarot really said it was going to be horrible for Florida, horrible for the East Coast, if the tarot was right, and if the astrology was right, then how come they were wrong and I was right, we were right, those of us that did our intention and took it from a category 6 almost storm to a thunderstorm by the time it reached Tampa? How do you explain that? Does this mean that astrology is wrong and can't be relied upon? That's one explanation. Does this mean that the tarot's wrong and cannot be relied upon? It's another explanation. Does this mean that Rex Bear is wrong and can't be relied upon? That's one explanation. Or what if Rex Bear and his facts were right? What if Heidi Vandenberg and her astrology were correct? What if Jenny Moonstone and her tarot was right on target? And yet, they were still wrong and we were right. How can it be? I'll tell you how it can be. Because when people start moving within the powers of the Christ, when people say, all right, the Christ said to a storm, peace be still, we're going to say to a storm, peace be still. And the Christ said we could do what he did, and we could do even greater things than he did. So when our 125,000-ish started doing it, and when George Norrie went on Coast to Coast and did it, all of a sudden you've got, let's be conservative, nearly 1 million people. Nearly 1 million people speaking out intention and putting out intention into the ether that the storm was going to slow, that the storm was going to die, that the storm was not going to strike Florida or the United States with any great force. And I'm very sorry for those that it did strike, and I wish we'd have been better at it, but you know, we do what we can. But when that human intention, that Christ directed human power started getting focused on that storm, it doesn't matter what the facts say anymore at that point. It doesn't matter what the astrology says at that point. It doesn't matter what the tarot says at that point. I will make the point, though, that the rod said it would not hit Florida. My little darlings, mwah, mwah, mwah. You were so right. The others were wrong, but you were right. The others were wrong, but you, me darlings, you were right. Yes, you were. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you. I just thought I'd make that fact, point that fact out, make it clear. But when human intention and Christ power starts working, it doesn't matter what the facts are. It doesn't matter what the astrology is. It doesn't matter what the tarot is, because the manifested Christ power of, I mean, we were talking about it with Wayne on Sunday. 1 can put 1,000 to flight. 2 can put 10,000 to flight. How many can 1 million put to flight? I'm a Bible college, not a math major. But I'll tell you, whatever the number is and how many it can put to flight, it can put to flight the facts of nature. It can put to flight the facts of astrology. It can put to flight the facts of tarot. The proof is in the pudding. Eat up. The proof is in the pudding. Eat up. Why were we right when so many were wrong? Because we were focusing the power of the Christ. So that means the power of the Christ is stronger than the power of nature. The power of the Christ is stronger than the power of astrology. The power of the Christ is stronger than the power of the tarot. And the power of the Christ is stronger than the facts. That's why we were right when so many were wrong. Because we were manifesting our Elohim-given Christ potential. We manifested our intention, boom, and a Category 6 almost became a thunderstorm by the time it got to Tampa. Thanks to George Norrie, thanks to the huge coast-to-coast audience, and thanks in some part to us and what we did. Pat yourself on the back. We did it. And I'm going to say something that might be controversial. Again, it's not my nature. But I don't care what the facts say. When your blink says something, go with it. I don't care what the astrology says. If your blink says something, go with it. I don't care what the tarot says. If your blink says something, go with it. Go with your blink, especially if it's dialed up and cleaned up and ready to rock and roll. The power of the Christ is greater than the power of the facts, the power of the astrology, the power of the tarot. And the rods were right. Anyway, I don't mean to be silly in such a serious situation, but I think that's important for us to know. It's important for us to realize these things. Astrology, love it. Getting more involved in it. Tarot, love it. You know I do it. Rods, love them. But they're not to be relied upon as your basic answers. They're supplementary. They're confirmatory. And they are subject to change. And they are subject to being overridden by the power of the manifested presence of the Christ by human beings, and especially by bunches of human beings. We are in the world-changing business, cousin. And cousin, business is a booming. To the chat room we go. If there's anybody left. If I haven't pissed everybody off. They could have been right without intervention. Sassy Susie, bang, bingo, bango, bongo. You got it. Rex made the Stay Puft. Now, I don't know if Rex was parodying or if he was serious, but at any rate, it worked. Great stuff, Jeff. We believe in ourselves. Absolutely. We are the Christ, as Tim Holderman says. We are the Christ. Absolutely. Hello from Denmark. Hello from Romania. The Christ is within us. Stay serious, Jeff. Snort, snicker. Yeah. Maria's really angry. Well, guess what? We can take advantage of that as well. We can take power over that as well. So that's why, folks, everybody was wrong and we were right. And I don't mind saying it. You know, they say, oh, I hate to say I told you so. I don't hate to. I love saying I told you so. Because I told you so. And we did it. We made the change we wanted to see. We did it. And we are just getting started. I'll have you know. All right. So there you go, folks. I'm the Christian whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty. That's the gospel truth about why so many were wrong about IRMA and we were right. Because the manifested power of the Christ in a group of human beings is more powerful than anything else, more powerful than astrology, more powerful than tarot, more powerful than supposed facts and figures. And that's such a matter as needed to say, I told you so. That's right. And I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, and I told you so. Oh, I just love it. I love it. I really do. So anyway, folks, there you go. There you go. And thank you, Shay Smith. There you go. I'll be back today with lots more stuff. I got a lot of stuff brewing besides this excellent coffee. And I appreciate every one of you with your input. I appreciate every one of you with your feedback. I appreciate every one of you with your support. I appreciate every one of you that are contributing financially. To those of you that are seeking truth, I salute you. And to even those of you that are here trying to cause trouble, I salute you too, because you're really seeking truth. You just don't know it. You don't have any original sin. You got the spark of divinity within. Love yourself. Love your neighbors. Be excellent to each other. Make the change you want to see. You've seen how to do it. You've seen how powerful it is. Make the change you want to see. And stay fearless, my friends.